I'm excited to have Silas today because he's not just a comrade, he's a friend. Um, Silas, thank you for joining me today. And again, Silas is just not a comrade, he's a very, very great friend. A little bit of story. When I was going to New York, I remember when I was going to New York to do my 3 or 4 days of protesting. Silas was the person that I first reached out to and said, "Hey, bro, I'm coming to New York. I want to come, protest in front of the United Nations." Silas was the first person I reached out to. And, he made sure that I had accommodation. He made sure that I had food. He made sure that he supported me with his voice when I was out there in front of the United Nations, talking on behalf of our people. So, brother, thank you so much. I'm glad that I'm the one getting to have this discussion with you today. I am excited because I know that it is going to be an incredible discussion. We are going to be here just for a short while because the CIC, Dr. Ayabacho Lucas, comes in a few. But welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mambo. This is one of the most exciting opportunities, not just because today is Father's Day, and just because you're hosting me on this very special network. I'm very, very excited to be here. Picking back on your little story back here in New York, I just want to say you're an incredible woman. Today we're celebrating Father's Day today, but I just want to use this opportunity again to, on behalf of the men or the fathers, to also salute a great woman like yourself. As far as the fight for justice is concerned all over the world, and particularly with our people. I must say you're a model for our children. For those of us fathers who are raising children, we hope that our children are looking up to, our girls are looking up to women like you to emulate. And I'm very, very happy that you're my friend, my comrade, and that we are in this fight for justice together. Happy Father's Day to all the viewers of ACN network. I'm This is my very first outing here on this platform, and I really, really look forward to an exciting conversation, a productive one, and one that will move the fight for the liberation of our suffering people a step further. I hope that those who are watching us right now can invite more friends, so that if what you and I discussed today is substantive enough to move the discussion forward, our people will all be in line so that we can all move as fast as possible to Boya. Permit me to use this opportunity to just wish a few fathers happy Father's Day. Just begin with the CIC Dr. Lucas Choayaba. Happy Father's Day to him. Happy Father's Day to all the Nera 10 and all our suffering people in the dungeons of La Republique du Cameroon. Happy Father's Day to all my fellow comrades out here and everybody who is thinking positive and moving the world, trying to make this world a better place. Happy Father's Day to all the men out there, and to our children and women who are celebrating us today. Happy Father's Day to you all. Special Happy Father's Day also to Comrade Yerima, who is also bereaved. I just want to wish him a happy Father's Day too. Thank you so much. So we can all the fathers. I wish you all a great Father's Day today. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I'm not going to be repetitive and single out those people, but happy Father's Day to you all. That Comrade Silas just mentioned your names, and of course to all those young men, protecting women and children or defending women and children in on ground zero. So happy Father's Day to each and every one of you. Hey guys, if you're joining us right now, please do share. Again, today's episode 24 of the interview, and my discussion today is with Comrade Silas or Brother Silas Atefor. Like I said, he and I are great friends. Apart from away from the struggle, we are great friends. But let's go straight into this. I know we are running out of time because the CIC comes on in probably like the next 30 or 35 minutes. So let's go. Let's start. So I want you to give me a summary of what you think our War of Independence is. at this point in time? It's a broad question, but I want you to give me a summary of what you think.
If you want me to summarize our liberation struggle at this point in time, there is only one word for it. Uh, Equip ground zero. That is a summary of our liberation today. Because if you want me to just, I can't just explain it with one word, but that is the summary of it all. The why I say this is because that is the one thing that would blow everything open for us to have the necessary conversation that we need to have, given the kind of enemy that we are confronting. So the summary of our liberation right now is on ground zero. Is what can ground zero do, or what can we do on ground zero to force this occupier out of our territory? That is how we can summarize whatever thing we do. That is where what it boils down to. Uh, Push out the occupier from our territory. That is the summary of our liberation struggle today. There's no other way to coin it. Any other thing is just icing on the cake for me.
Absolutely. And when you talk about equip ground zero, which of course I know you're talking about, defense strategies, right? Now
Absolutely.
we have a problem with, you know, in fact, let me be direct with this question. So when you talk about equipped ground zero, we have so many young men on the ground that are putting their lives, in front of the barrel of a gun just to defend our women and children. And we also have people that question the putting of guns in the hands of our, of these young men and women, if I may. And that question comes from the fact that how do we at post our war of independence, or when we've achieved our goal, how do we make sure that these young men are able to be well integrated back into the society or back into the community, where they don't have these guns, or guns are spread around, where it can become a case where we have guns in the hands of young men that don't even know how to use, or don't even know what to do with themselves. Am I making sense with that question?
I get your point, Doctor. But this is how my response to people who ask that question. One, we cannot put the cart before the horse. We are in a fight for our existence, where a foreign occupier is trying to extinct us from the surface of the earth. So at the moment where the young men and women are standing up for their own existence, my focus at this point is take the pressure off your neck, and then talk about what happens later. We are not the very first people to be engaged in a liberation struggle, and all of these things have happened before. If we start questioning things that need to come after at this point, then we lose focus on the things that are supposed to be happening right now. So my response to them will be, these are things that have happened before, and we are now in a position where we need to get the guns of La Republic military off the backs of our mothers and children. Then the necessary steps that have always been taken from every other angle, or similar liberation struggles around the world, will definitely be followed through to get to rehabilitate those who will not be anymore in the military. They will be rehabilitated as it has always happened in other places. So this is not the first. Even America here, where you and I are, those things have happened before, and this is the beautiful country that you and I are here today enjoying. So it's just to reassure those who are asking those questions. If they're genuinely asking those questions, we just need to reassure them that these things are not new. There are things that have a formula, but at this point, we need to get La Republic guns off the backs of our people. We need to stop civilians who are being killed in Menchum, make sure that they don't get killed. We need to make sure that grandmothers don't get burned in their houses. Those things are the things that need to stop right now. Stopping this hemorrhage is the focus right now, and how we rehabilitate our community. There's a lot that will be done. There's a whole society to rebuild from the ground up, both
Mhm.
the human the human structure and the physical structures that we need to rebuild. There's a lot of work that will be done. Perhaps that is where some of you and I who are not right now on the ground will probably be helping when that time comes. But for now, it's about funding ground zero and making sure that our people don't continue to bleed.
Okay, and still talking about equipping these young men on the ground. You have been, you and I have been in this our war of independence for a while now, and we see the work that most of the liberation groups are doing. And however, you still have some of these young men on the ground or some of these liberation groups that do not have a structure, right? So when you talk about equipping these young men, is there any what is your suggestion when it comes to the conflict that we have within different liberation movements that have young men fighting on the ground? And we even have, I think we have proxy groups that are out there on ground zero posing as liberation fighters, whereas that is not the case. So how do we determine which liberation movement really does the or in your opinion which liberation movement does the job on the ground, and will you think or will you say is the best movement to fund or to equip the fighters on the ground?
Thank you very much. This is the point. It is true that our brothers on the ground went into all of this without any prior training, unlike the so-called professional military of La République du Cameroon that continues to exhibit all kinds of unprofessionalism on the ground that we have seen, very visible, that all of us have seen, and the international community is watching. Our boys have come a long way from where they were. Remember, they used stones before. They took out their farm machetes, came out with it, and then they came into a system where they were using their grandfathers hunting weapons, and today they have taken weapons from La Republic military and they're using it against them. That is such a milestone that must be recognized and celebrated. So, some of the inaptitudes that we see, uh, they will get better as time goes on. And it is not also uncommon. I talked about other liberation struggles that have happened. Conflict within groups, between groups, are not uncommon. The bottom line should remain where the focus of the vision, whether it's to liberate the people. If that is still the case, any group that is obeying that mantra of liberation should continue to have their due and be celebrated. But I must say, from my observation at this point, I salute the work of on the ground. I salute the organization of the Amazonian Defense Forces, which I have followed closely. They are the only people. They are the only group on the ground that you can follow and get a clear. If something happens on the ground, and you can follow a chain of command and get to the bottom of an issue. There are other groups who are doing extremely and excellently well in terms of pushing out the enemy, but the organization structure still leave much to be desired. Uh, we can be doing the very best of work, but if the goal is to have a country, we must also progress in a structural way, so that checks and balances can be gotten. It's easy today. Most people will just come. You can hear a lot of criticism about the ADF and when other people find it easy to just criticize because one, they are structured. So if something happens within the ADF, it's easy to trace. So, but other people are causing chaos, but they cannot be traced because they are just everywhere, and this is what we have to avoid. And most people follow, most people who criticize the ADF most of the time just follows some of these pockets of incidents that they may not even understand. Then they go out there, and it's easy to lambast the organization because they are the most organized. I must say this: if you want to get to the bottom of anything, and you want to know who to call, I'm like Capo Daniel is the only one who is from the ADF, from all the other organizations that you can point to and say this is a command, and you go there. You don't have that in any other organizational structure out there that you see. People are not there to take responsibilities, and that is not the way to go for me. So I salute the work of the organization of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the AGOVC, which are doing incredibly well. No one is yet closer to the organization that the Ambazonian Defense Force and the AGOVC has, but there are a lot of groups doing heavy work on the ground that are matching what the in terms of action. That is another ball game. But the organization, the Ambazonian Defense Forces, are incredible. That is the future of Ambazonian defense on the ground. No doubt about that.
Hi, I am so sorry. I think my computer just suddenly went blank, so I had to change, I'm not using a different device, but I totally
Okay.
missed every single thing you said. But
Okay. If I
you
just
have
can
some.
just give you a recap, I was just saying that the Ambazonian Defense Forces have the most organized structure on the ground, as well as other groups that are there. They are working very hard in terms of action, but in terms of organization, the Amazonian Defense Forces are way ahead of organization that the other movements on the grounds do not have. They are the one movement that you can trace a story or an incident from ground up to the leadership, and you will find consistency. It doesn't that is not regular with the other groups. So that was the
Okay.
point I was trying to make. Mhm.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much for that. And let's take this somewhere else. So you actually are the former director of SCBC. Is am I right on that?
Yes, you're very
Oh,
correct. I was the programs director of SCBC since 2019 until at some point a couple of months back that I resigned privately, and then uh, most people learned about it months later after I resigned from the Southern Cameroon's broadcasting uh, corporation, which is that one major voice that pushed our liberation advocacy to a level that has have never been seen before. I was very proud to work over there, and I respect the work that was done there in the past, and a lot of what we did there for some time. But we came to a point where I was no longer satisfied with the work that was going on at SCBC, and I had to step back. Yes, that's correct.
okay. So let me dig deep into this, if you don't mind. Um, and this is gonna be geared towards collaboration. And
Mhm,
I've watched a few episodes just before we you and I came on
mhm,
a few days back. I went back and just watched a few episodes from SCPC, and I realized that there was a whole lot of antagonism going on towards other liberation organization, and which also it also defeats the purpose of collaboration, which is what we as Amazonians, and I think the AIG of C and Dr. Ayabacho Lucas has been preaching, and maybe other leaders in other movements have been preaching about the collaborative effort between all the liberation movement. However, that is not what I saw on some of the episodes in SCBC. What 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 is was that one of the main reasons why you did resign? The fact that some of these broadcasters on SCBC were actually antagonizing some other liberation movements. Was that one of the reasons?
Doctor, in as much as all of that antagonism is ugly, uh, it was not really the major reason why. It was not the final nail on the coffin for me, because the issue of that antagonism is something that has become like the soul feeder of some of this liberation movement. I said earlier that uh, disagreements are not uncommon when people have different views, but sometimes they take it to extreme. I also just followed a post on this network ACN where I was saying Milton Tucker and the Bamili case, and so is the reason why Ambazonia should be very aware of them. Those kind of things too. That just falls in the same category,
Hmm.
that you were talking about, which I don't like. But that was not the reason why I left. Uh,
Okay.
there were a lot of organizational and management problems which SCBC is currently suffering from, and I really wish the Ambazonian people, because the SCBC is an Ambazonian jewel that that deserve its merit, but currently it's going through a crisis that I hope those who have the leadership over there can fix it for posterity, because it has done a lot of good to our struggle. And if it goes down the same path that it's going right now, it will not serve the Ambazonian people. And I must say, for a while now, SCBC has been a shadow of itself. Uh, that is just the facts. You can look back what SCBC used to do and what it has become, especially talking about the antagonisms that you just mentioned. SCBC used to proud itself as that organization that had decorum, that will comport themselves in a manner that is classy. It doesn't exist anymore. I remember when I was director there. There was a program of Asu Lucas that I had to stop. I don't know whether it was a broadcast where we had this policy where every Ambazonian leader must be respected. You can't come there and you're talking trash about a leader that is risking everything to fight for the people. Just like how you see some other currently, you see them calling Dr. Cho names and all of
Right.
that. Asu Lucas only was calling Sikwayu Julius Tabe Ayuk Ayuk, and that was not how our ethics of that during my reign there. I did not tolerate that. But you can see how things continue to degrade, and it feels like it's normal. It feels like it's normal over there, and it's not a good culture to embrace. And we are not in a fight. Sometimes our different movements or institutions within the same struggle feel that they are in competition with one another. We
Correct.
are in competition to be the best of each other's self, so that you can beat the enemy. ACN should be encouraged to become the best of itself, and SCBC should be encouraged to become the best of itself. So that one person, that one ACN to be the best of itself, because it's an Ambazonian product, and I want SCBC to become the best of itself. But I will not sit there and fan and encourage things that don't benefit the people of Ambazonia, and yet it is a package in their name. So those type of programs or institutions, they will not get my support, unfortunately.
Okay. Okay, well, hey, that's a good enough reason. I think we as Amazonians, we've gone through so much that at this point in time, we have to start looking towards building each other rather than, bringing each other down. So I totally agree with you on that. Um, talking about, again, going back to collaboration, and So, you being in the insights of the IG care, on the perspective of the IG care, is collaboration a bigger picture? Um, because the IG care and the AGOVC have talked about collaborating, and is that did that actually happen, or is it even gonna happen? Do you have any idea?
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. I want to again make a clarification that I have always made. Uh, Maybe in a smaller settings that I am not a member of the IG care. I don't know what care the IG care is. I know that there is the IG, the interim government that is required Julius Tabe and others were created in Zaria, and that is what has been functioning. You have all the splinters that have been splintered, and they're doing all what is going on right now. Uh, I've never been part of any of their organizations. I've never been in a whole held any position there. And
What
when I was called on to,
SCBC? Any Is it separate from IG care?
that is what where I'm driving to.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was called on to manage programs at SCBC, I was explained that SCBC uh, is not part of the it's not the IG so-called care property. It is an Amazonian property, so to say, and it was managed by a board of directors that was different from the management of the government. Because I had made it clear that after the APNC conference that we held, when I came out from there, we came out with some very very good resolutions, and I said I will only participate officially in any for any political organization if there was a revolutionary council that was formed, and that was the only organization that I will commit publicly my services to. So, but I did not mind any other, like I'm a member of SCAF as well. So I did not mind to be a part of a private or public private. I don't know how to call it because it did not have anything to do with the IG care, even though how it was all created by them. But at this point, even Yerima has no say over what goes on at the LCBC TV from the time that from that 2019 that I came on board. There's never been a day we had any meeting with Yerima to discuss anything about SCBC. There's never been a day Yerima called me or anybody to say SCBC has gone up or come down. There have actually been several times when Yerima has been trying to or Yerma or his people have been trying to have their communiques on LCBC TV, and it was even difficult. So that is the situation of the LCBC, and that actually posed a problem because you can now have a revolutionary network without a political backing. So it is something that is hard because at this point you have rogues just running their own personal ideas, probably in good faith, but it's not working. I must say it's not working. It's deviating from uh, what the organization stand. A lot of people are basing or taking actions of the SCBC today and bashing it on the either Yerima's effort or the IG so-called care their efforts, which I will tell you that they have nothing to do. They're just like you and me, who may want to say something and ask for an opportunity to say it on that network. So if this management system or this structural system is not what Ambazonians want, they must be interrogating to find out how is SCBC managed. That is something that Ambazonians must know, or if they must continue to support the network for their liberation. Uh, I applaud the ACN, because you can clearly see, know what they stand for. You cannot be a liberation organization and yet you said you are open to every conversation. I don't find that. I don't find that like a philosophy that is sustainable with the goals that our people have at this time. So to me, all of those little things have to be ironed out in a very serious manner. In a very serious manner. So I've not never been part of the IG,
Okay.
and I've never been. I was director for SCBC TV, which was managed by the SCBC board. A lot of them are members of or are part of the they are not, most of them, that the board members are not even members in the cabinet of Yerima, so to say. That is why you can see a lot of, I feel like there is a lot of chaos in the management over there, because
Yeah.
it gives them a voice, some power that they feel that they have, which even Yerima is struggling to have, and he can't. So this is not good for the liberation, in my opinion, and I hope that those things can be fixed. I'm sure if you have a conversation with Yerima, he will tell you straight up himself that he doesn't know what goes on over there, and if he says that, he's telling you the truth, and he's not making anything up, because most people may not believe him, but that is what is happening. He has no say over there. Even Milton Taka, who is the communication over there. There've never been any day during my time that we had any meeting with him regarding SCBC TV. That has never happened. Uh, uh, so he too and his team struggle to have their voice on SCBC, sometimes
Hmm.
without success.
Wow, that is weird. That is
For
weird,
real,
and
it is weird. It is really weird.
yeah, okay, and good to know because at least I think people now know what is going on. So it's good information to know. And now, so what is your personally, what is your take when it comes to collaboration? Because I think that that is one of the main things that people have been hitting hard on, you know, given that there's just so much disagreement going on within the the various movements. And
Mhm.
and I think that I mean, maybe we are making headway towards that, but it's kind of a slow headway. What do you think, personally? What is your take on collaboration, or what do you think is delaying collaboration within the various movements in our revolution?
Uh, in my opinion, at this point in time, I know that the Dr. Lucas Choayaba and Comrade Yerima can collaborate. Those are the two people that I can encourage collaboration to. The rest of the other movements, I don't know what I cannot say for sure what they really stand for, because sometimes their utterances and their conversations are all over the place. But I see a lot of possibility of collaboration between Yerima and Dr. Lucas Cho Ayaba. Now, uh, uh, my advice that I will give, the one thing that I've noticed that actually stores collaboration between them uh, comes with their collaborators. So if Yerima and Dr. Cho can sit in their room, have their own perspective of what they can work on. They don't have to work on everything. Have something that they want to work on and say, we will do it this way. Keep their collaborators aside and then go back to their collaborators and tell them that this is how we will work. If you guys trust my leadership, this is what we will do. And make sure that they impose their leadership, because they do have those leverages that they can use. They can talk to their collaborators and make them understand the value that collaboration will bring. They don't have to start with something really big, but collaboration, if it starts item by item, you will find that at some point we are even not able to distinguish which organization is which. And sometimes this antagonism that is promoted on social media, which is most of the time not the reality in the background, because I talk to most of these leaders in the background, and I don't feel any antagonism between the leadership, even with some of the collaborators. It just feels like the attention on the media just provokes some kind of conversation that is different from how these comrades interact in the background. So I would just encourage that these leaders focus on their vision. They come with their vision and work on items that can really move our people forward. Making sure that their collaborators are their collaborators understand that this is like their major their major achievements that they would like to do. Make collaboration the center of their mission, and they will do it
Mhm.
item by item, and I think it will be very successful. And I strongly believe that Dr. Cho and Comrade Yerima, and in some extent John Bakuru, who is also a voice, they can do a lot of things together.
Okay, and I think when it comes to the influence from the media, I also agree with you on that. I think that the attention, right, from the attention, the bickering from the media, and most especially from some of these activists who are supposed to be actually
Absolutely.
there's out there, to up these leaders, to lift them up, to do the work that they have been purposed to do. But when you have some of these activists going out there and downing leaders that are actually doing their best to make sure that the revolution gets to a logical end, that just, I think it has kind of pushed some people away, away from wanting to actually engage to build this new nation that we want to build because of the negativity. And I think that we also have some of these leaders that are feeding into, this uh, media ruckus that is going out there, which is, which brings me to the point of leadership. Um, because I know you have a lot of insight on this, right? And we have seen, I mean, we continue to see, we see there are so many leaders in this our war of independence. Um, Personally, what do you think about the leadership in our, our move in fact, in our war of independence? If you were to pinpoint to a person and say this is the person or this is the movement that Ambazonians need to align behind and throw in their support, because maybe that this movement is going to take the war of independence to a logical end, which movement or which leader, if that's something you've seen, which will it be? And to
Uh,
follow up, or maybe to start with that question, what to you is leadership? And based on your definition, what do you think, or which movement or leader do you think can actually propel this war of independence?
in our Ambazonian context today, it's hard to define what a leader, who a leader is, because we have gone through a phase where um, leadership has been misconstrued in so many ways, and if you were to give a definition of leadership today, it will be very controversial. So I will skip that definition of leadership maybe for a private discussion and rather say this. Uh,
Okay.
Ambazonians should know that they have they are under occupation, and they are about to be extinct. That is the goal of the enemy at this point. And if they don't realize that they are all facing they have a common problem and they are facing a common enemy, that is going to remain a problem for much longer. Uh, Organizations that uh, anyone can rally behind, it's also a difficult thing to point, because uh, at this point in time, I would always say this: uh, there are some organizations within which some organizations who within that organization people have left that organization to work with the enemy. We have seen that. We know these organizations. There are some organizations that have been there for ages. We have not seen that kind of movement or that kind of betrayal. So while it
Yeah.
is common with some organizations, it doesn't exist in some organizations. That is a fact. I'm not making this. I'm not making this up. So for you, an Amazonian who is looking for uh, a group to support, or don't support a group, support a vision, because the vision is what will take you to, it will liberate you, and not some leader or a fancy organization. You
But
can
a
create
leader
anything.
defines a vision, right? A leader or movement defines a vision, and that vision. I mean, if you want to follow a vision, it has to come from a structured organization or from a structured movement.
Yes. So that
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. That the vision is what Ambazonians should follow. If they follow the
Okay.
vision, they will fall in the right organization. That is that is my direction without telling anybody where to go. If you if you see an organization that stands for what you believe in and has been in like that for centuries, since the beginning of your struggle, and that organization is doing continues to do exactly what they say they will do. No one in that organization have betrayed that organization before. You can clearly see that that is an organization that is firm and grounded, whereas other organizations have their complications. Would you rather stay around an organization that is fluke, or one that is rather stable, and the vision is certain, not blinking? If a lot of our people are caught up with the organization thing, and you have some very good people caught up in structures that they are caught up in that structures. They have their beliefs are different, but they're caught up in structures. This particular message is probably for them, because you need a lot of courage. It's not once people are caught up politically, especially as the politics are concerned, most people get caught up in that politics, and it's difficult for them to even express themselves in a frank manner. Unfortunately, some people or like myself, I'm not shy to change my mind and say, "Oh, I was doing this before, but I think this is not working." That is the kind of courage that
Yeah.
our people should develop, because because I know people who are sitting within organizations, and then they will come back, they criticize that same organization to me, and I ask myself, so what is your way forward? Are you able to change things within that organization? Because that is how it works. Either you have the means to change something within the organization, or you can step back. Because the more,
Right.
if you stay within that organization, you are enabling the stalemate that is there. And if you step back, you can step back and give yourself some time, or you can step back and look for that organization or another uh, platform that is portraying your views. It is as simple as that. But for everybody who is fighting for Ambazonia, wherever you are fighting, just make sure that you are giving your full best. We are going to do better when we are speaking with the same voice and acting in the same way, even if we are not in the same house.
Uh, um, great response. Even though I wanted,
Yeah, I
I
know you
wanted more
you, you 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 want me to be black and white, but it's not.
black and white.
Uh, uh, uh,
But
it's not like
so you
that.
and I actually have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of questions to ask you. Unfortunately, because we started late, you and I are going to come back. We have to agree on another day to come back because the CIC, Dr. Yabacho Lucas, his show should be starting right now. But I'm gonna ask you, just quickly give me your opinions on two questions, and then we can switch to Dr. Yabacho Lucas. What do you think about the AGOVC and the ADF being tagged as a terrorist organization, or tagged as a terrorist organization from the other side, or working with La République du Cameroon from, our other, folks, well, those people. So what is your opinion about that? Do you think that any of this makes sense?
That that is one of my greatest embarrassment and in this struggle.
Okay.
That some people I call comrades are able to stand and tag uh, tested leaders and organizations that have not wavered for our cause with in such manner. Of course, this is not to excuse any mistakes that are being made by all our movements out here, but it is very shameful that uh, it's also one of the highlights of the moment that I left SCBC, which was promoting it because under my organization, my leadership there, that is intolerable. What was going on over there? You're talking about tagging. You did not call SCBC, but it's okay to mention that SCBC allowed that to go on over there, and that was very disgusting and inappropriate and counter-revolutionary for our struggle. So it is one thing to disagree with someone, but it's another thing to completely just forget about the cause and follow go out go a witch hunt because you don't like somebody or you disagree with somebody. This is an attitude that Ambazonians must be able to condemn. Anyone who purports that, I still want to remind them. I would say that I've not seen anyone from the AGOVC or the ADF join La République du Cameroon or break out from there and say, now I am in the middle. I have not seen any of that. Ambazonians must know who is fighting for them and who will not blink for their freedom. So it was very disgusting to see that, and those who continue to promote that. You hear all these questions: where is ADF fighting? But when ADF loses a fighter on the ground, they'll come back, and then you see some of them celebrate. But yet, they ask you again. They tell you ADF is not doesn't exist. They are the same people who come back and tag them as terrorists. So which one is which? It's
Mhm.
really, really unfortunate that some people we call comrades continue to do this, and it truly have to stop. It truly have to
Right.
stop.
Absolutely. So one last question, and then we are gonna end for today, and then maybe you and I in the back will reschedule another day to come continue with this conversation. I know that you're
Anytime.
an independent. Okay, I know that you're an independent activist, and I know that, regardless, you are, a brave Amazonian at heart. The CIC always says that, this revolution or this our war of independence, we all are volunteers, and we have to do our best to make sure that we offer our services for the freedom of our people, and to also make sure that, we do everything possible to make sure that our women and children are well protected and defended by the young men and women that are putting their lives on the in front of the barrel of a gun. So if you were to we have movements in this organization, and we I mean, I know that for myself, I know that people don't see me as often as they used to, but everybody knows that I am a diehard, egg of cyst and ADF. And again, going back to vision, that is just because of the vision and, the kindness of Dr. Yabacho. I love kind people, and I have seen that in this man. And so, my dedication to the AGOC, like I said, as much as I'm not there, but every time that I'm being called to offer, to do something, I show my face and I get it done if I have the time. And because like Dr. Yaba usually says, we are all volunteers, and we have to do our best to make sure that we, push this to the logical end.
Question.
So if you were to join another movement, um, in this our war of independence. And then again, I'm just throwing this question out there, so feel free to either answer or not to answer. If you were to join a movement, which will it be? again, to render your volunteer services.
Yes. This is. Let me say this. I am open to all organizations that are.
Hello? I think we are losing you somehow, Comrade Silas. Did we? I think we lost
Can
Comrade
you hear me
Silas.
now?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I was
Yes.
saying that I am not particularly. Uh, Comrade Silas, you are in New York. Tell
You're still breaking. We still cannot hear. Okay. Oh, maybe it's from my end. I don't know. Can you hear me?
my thing is frozen.
Oh, okay. I thought it was from my end, but I think it's your end. Well, I'm just gonna. I think Comrade Silas has an internet connection problem. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, we get you right now. So let's be quick about this so that we can get offline for the CIC to come in.
Okay, I was just saying that any organization that wants me to do something on their behalf for our people, I am open. If Dr. Cho calls me today and say, Silas, stop whatever you are doing today and go to see this person on behalf of our people, I will not blink. I will just get up and go. I will stop whatever I'm doing immediately. I will stop whatever I'm
Okay,
doing immediately and go. Yes.
so
So I'm open to all our people.
if Dr. Sako calls you to do something for your people, you're gonna stop and also go do that, huh?
If he calls me and it is something for our people, yes, I will go.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. So, welcome, Ray Silas. I am so excited that I had you on today. You know, I'm always excited to talk to you, anyways. Um,
Pleasure is always mine.
yeah,
Come
I'm
back to
really.
New York, though. Come back to New York. It's been a while.
I know I should. I should. We should definitely plan something, though. I will.
Yeah,
You know,
this
I'm always
summer.
excited. I'll definitely love to come back. But I'm so happy that I had you on here today. We are definitely going to plan something, and then we will come back and continue with this discussion. But do you have any last words for the viewers?
For our viewers, I just want to salute their continuous support for their freedom. I want to encourage anyone who is watching today from Ambazonia and from around the world who is sympathetic to the Ambazonian cause to continue to advocate and fight for our people. We watched an interview where we just heard how our people were being treated in La Republique dungeons, how they were just being butchered over there, even in their torture camps. We saw how our people in Ndu, they came out to protest against La Republic arming the Fulanese to come out and torture our people. All of this chaos just needs to stop. And anyone who makes excuses for some of the unfortunate excesses that happens and to delegitimize the struggle is this being dishonest. I just want to encourage all our people to stay strong and that our cause is genuine and just, and freedom will come regardless, no matter what. We will have the last laugh. Stay encouraged, stay supportive, and fund ground zero.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much, Comrade Silas, for joining me today. Again, I'm definitely going to be having you over. We'll plan for that, and then
So,
another great show. Well, fellow viewers, thank you, fellow viewers. Thank you for joining us today. And again, happy Father's Day to you all, incredible. Um, fathers out there that are taking good care of your children. Thank you to Dr. Yabacho Lucas, most especially for propelling this struggle forward. Sir, happy Father's Day to you. I know that you're a great father. The way you treat a junior sister like me, I know for sure that you are, the most inspiring father that any child could ever ask for. So thank you, sir. Again, happy Father's Day to all the young men and in fact, all the men out there on ground zero, those that are in the dungeons of La Republique. Happy Father's Day to you all. And we are absolutely praying for each and every one of you. We are praying for an independent Ambazonia. We are praying that someday, each and every one of us will step foot in our beautiful country. We will have an educational system that is, my God, I don't even know the word to use, but we are going to have an educational system that is great. We are going to have a healthcare system that each and every Ambazonia can be able to afford healthcare or have access to healthcare. We are going to have good infrastructures, including roads that we can be able to access from one state to the other within Ambazonia. That is our prayer, that is our hope, and we thank each and every one of you, all the fighters on the ground, our heroes that are putting their lives in front of the barrel of a gun every single day, just to make sure that we see an independent Ambazonia and kick La Republique to the gates of hell. So thank you all. Please stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. The CIC, Dr. Ayabacho Lucas, is about to wow you guys with his intelligence and the vision that he has for Ambazonia. So stay tuned. We will be right back with Dr. Ayabacho Lucas. Thank you all and have a wonderful Sunday.
Stay tuned on ACN TV. We will be right back.